Welcome to the Horn of Africa, a place where history has left deep imprints, shaping the complex puzzle we see today. Think of Ethiopia, Kenya, and Djibouti, former colonies that now hold pieces of Somalia's story. Did you know that Ethiopia is home to the third largest Somali population, mainly in the Ogaden region? Kenya's biggest state also houses Somali communities, while Djibouti stands out with 92% of its population identifying with Somalia and speaking the Somali language. Meanwhile, a landlocked nation, Ethiopia, seeking access to the Red Sea backed by Russia, China, United Arab Emirates, and Israel. All these countries face challenges as Houthi rebels, allegedly supported by Iran, target vessels in the region. This adds a layer of complexity, especially concerning Ethiopia's strategic interest in the Berbera port, utilized by Russia, China, and the United Arab Emirates company DP World. Somalia, emerging from a civil war in the 1990s, is in the process of recovery, while Somaliland harbors its own ambitions, further complicating the regional dynamics. Did you know that in the unfolding events in the Red Sea, Ethiopia finds itself at the center of a geopolitical chessboard, making strategic moves that raise eyebrows? Abiy Ahmed's moves in Somaliland echo geopolitical disputes like those between Pakistan and Indian Kashmir. Add China's role in infrastructure development, and the story becomes a thrilling journey through unknown territory. Leader of the breakaway Somaliland President Muse Bihi is seen sitting next to the Ethiopian Prime Minister and said that they have signed an agreement with Ethiopia in which Somaliland will provide a place for the Ethiopian army to settle on the sea. While according to Bihi, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia asked us to enter into an understanding, said Muse Bihi, as we have agreed, which is written here, that we will allow 20 kilometers of the sea, and they will recognize us. On the other hand, a statement issued by the Ethiopian Prime Minister's office confirmed the understanding, although it did not include detailed information. Muse Bihi said that this part of the sea they are giving to Ethiopia is a lease and not for sale. The reports, on the other hand, say that Somaliland, in return, will have a stake in Ethiopian Airlines, which is the largest airline in Africa. It's important to note that Somaliland is not internationally recognized as an independent country, and any agreement signed by Somaliland must receive approval from the federal government of Somalia. Now, let's unravel the fascinating story of Somaliland, a region trying to stand on its own. Recently, it made headlines by teaming up with Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, who's dealing with conflicts in Tigray and Amhara in Ethiopia. Meet President Muse Bihi, leading Somaliland's journey. He was once part of the Somali national movement, fighting against Siad Barre. In 1991, Somaliland declared independence without asking the people, making Somalia's situation even more complicated. Welcome, dear audience, to Rise Africa, your African Insights destination. The drama doesn't stop there. Somaliland, aiming for international recognition, gets tangled in conflicts, including a recent one with the Katumo state of Somalia. President Muse Bihi, who was having a tough time in politics, has made a surprising comeback. He lost in the SSC region and couldn't organize elections in Somaliland, so he took a break. After meetings with the Somali president in Djibouti, he flew to Ethiopia and dropped a major bombshell. Revealed a big agreement. Ethiopia gets access to the sea and a base, and in return, Ethiopia officially recognizes Somaliland and also gets a share in Ethiopian Airlines. This goal is pursued by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, even though Somaliland is still considered part of Somalia and is not recognized internationally. Ethiopia, which has had 3 historical wars with Somalia, now aims to give its 140 million people access to a port and military base in Somaliland. This unexpected turn in the political tale adds a lot of excitement to the Horn of Africa's story, with more suspense and political drama expected soon. Notably, just 2 days before this reported agreement, the leaders of self-declared Somaliland and Somalia had signed an agreement in Djibouti, with Djibouti's president serving as the mediator. Concerns have been raised about Djibouti's role, with some perceiving a potential divisive agenda. Many Somalis are apprehensive about the situation, fearing that the Somali president may have allowed Ethiopia to claim a portion of the sea. Reports from Somali news outlets suggest that Ethiopia is preparing to deploy its army, sparking confusion among many, especially considering Ethiopia's lack of direct access to the sea. Now imagine Katumo forces, loyal to the Somali president, positioned just 200 kilometers from Hargeisa, Somaliland's capital. Rumors say Somali forces are making moves to reclaim Somaliland, a bold move. As Ethiopia deals with internal strife, including conflicts in Tigray and Amhara's aspirations, the Horn of Africa reflects the complexities of bouncing back from civil war. Meanwhile, in the big story of talks between Somalia and Somaliland, there's a twist that's catching everyone off guard. Right after the recent Djibouti summit, where Presidents Hassan Sheikh Mohamud of Somalia and Muse Bihi Abdi of Somaliland shook hands on a deal, something unexpected happened. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Somaliland's president, known for not keeping his promises, did something that left people scratching their heads. Just a day after the Djibouti summit, he hopped over to Ethiopia and signed a deal with the Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. This move has left many in Somalia surprised and wondering why Somaliland's president would make such a move, especially after the recent collaboration with Somalia. Remember the Djibouti summit? It was supposed to be a positive step, with Presidents Mohamud and Bihi signing a joint statement and all. The focus was on talking about destiny and other serious stuff. But now, with this unexpected move, things are a bit up in the air. The key players, like Ministers Mohamed Kahin and Ahmed Makali, all confident after the Djibouti agreements, are now dealing with this new twist. It's like they were all set for a great story, and someone threw in a plot twist no one saw coming. Let's break down what's happening. Somaliland, despite not officially being its own country, made a deal with Ethiopia. Now the president of Somaliland is saying that once they sign the deal, Ethiopia will be the first to recognize them as a separate country from Somalia. But here's the twist. Somalia might do something similar by recognizing parts of Ethiopia as its own country. This could lead to some serious problems, and even conflicts in the Horn of Africa. You see, Ethiopia has a lot on its plate right now with wars happening all over the country. Some folks are thinking, maybe it's not the best time to create more issues. Ethiopia's leader, Abiy Ahmed, is dealing with a bunch of problems inside Ethiopia, and Africa in general is tired of all these wars. Somalia, emerging from a civil war in the 1990s, is in the process of recovery, while Somaliland harbors its own ambitions, further complicating the regional dynamics. On the one hand, the USA supports Somalia in this intricate dance of power, the regional dynamics. Djibouti, a country hosting numerous world army bases, becomes a target for Houthi attacks due to its strategic importance. In a surprising turn of events, something unexpected happened when the Somali president, Hassan Sheikh, and the U.S. Defense Secretary, Lloyd Austin, had a secret meeting in Djibouti in July 2023 last year.
Well, good morning, gentlemen. It's really great to see you. As Secretary Blinken said, we're happy to meet today to discuss our long-standing and effective security partnerships. Our work together strengthens peace, security, and governance across Africa and beyond. President Gillet, we are especially grateful to Djibouti for hosting Camp Lemonnier. That's crucial for countering violent extremism and for supporting maritime security throughout the region. And President Sheikh Mohammed, the U.S. Department of Defense is fortunate to partner with Somalia's courageous armed forces, and will continue to support your government's efforts as you further develop your security forces. So we're grateful for all of your country's robust cooperation with the United States. Our partnerships contribute directly to many of the key goals in our national defense strategy, including defending our country, deterring aggression, and combating violent extremism. And our partnerships are crucial to tackling transnational challenges that threaten us all. We're all here today because we recognize that African leadership remains key to confronting our era's defining challenges of peace, security, and governance. So we deeply appreciate your leadership and your friendship, and look forward to continuing to build upon our important partnership. So thank you very much, and it's great to see you.
It turns out that the United States is planning to set up a base in Berbera to deal with the Houthi threat in the Red Sea and their piracy in the sea. This is a major change in their alliances and plans. On the other hand, Ethiopia's recent inclusion in BRICS aligns with broader efforts for Russia to establish a strong foothold in the Horn of Africa, recognizing its importance as a sea route. Imagine these powerful nations backing Ethiopia's move to invade Somalia and seize the strategic port of Berbera, located the Gulf of Aden and the narrow strait of Bab el-Mandeb. Did you know that Ethiopia and Somalia have a history of 3 wars? Have you ever wondered why Berbera, Somalia's sea passageway, is so crucial in the grand tale of the Red Sea? Well, let's unravel this maritime mystery. Imagine the Red Sea as a vast extension of the ocean, wedged between Africa and Asia. It's not just any sea. It's a special gateway linking the Arabian Sea, Indian Ocean, and even the Mediterranean Sea through the famous Suez Canal. Now picture 6 countries: Yemen, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Sudan, Eritrea, and Djibouti, all playing roles in this watery narrative. The Gulf of Aqaba adds Egypt, Israel, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia to the mix.
Located in the Horn of Africa, Ethiopia also serves as a crucial gateway between Africa, the Middle East, and wider Asia. Our strategic position could provide the BRICS with enhanced connectivity opportunities across these regions. The efforts we are making in intensive infrastructure development within and across the whole region is a testament to our endeavors toward this regional integration. Our positioning offers a vital link to East Africa's market and has the potential to foster a richer and a more inclusive integration of the global economy.
This move is supported by the UAE, also part of BRICS member, which aims to assist Ethiopia in controlling the Red Sea. There's speculation about Ethiopia's long-standing preparation of its marine forces, raising questions about the motives behind such military developments. Picture this. Back in 2018, Ethiopia found itself aligned with the United Arab Emirates company, DP World.
UAE and DP World honored really to be participating in this amazing project, and the fact that Ethiopia is part of it really gives us a lot of credibility and strength. Ethiopia is a big country with 110 million people, and of course this will create jobs, will create economic activities in Somaliland, which needs it. It will transform the Berbera from a small port to a major port that will participate in the maritime trade. There are many opportunities in Ethiopia, and one way to unlock the opportunities is the port, modern port facilities, as well as free zone that will have facilities where people can do logistics and others. We are determined not only stop on what we did with the Ethiopian government in the port, but also we will be participating in specific projects in Ethiopia in line with consultation and permission from the government to further develop the economy and participate in it, because our government in UAE has great respect to the government of Ethiopia and to the government of Somaliland, and we believe, and they are urging us as pioneers of investment around the world to put some of the investment also in somewhere where it's very close to our heart, close to our people, and we believe it will get our countries even closer for the benefit of both. Ethiopia's growth is one of the highest in the world. The biggest issue that really affects the growth of Ethiopia is the unavailability of ports. And today we are adding, in addition to Djibouti, we are adding Berbera, which will be planned and designed to be a major port. At the end of the day, Ethiopia will need to deal with their growth, both Djibouti and Berbera.
In 2018, Ethiopia and Somaliland signed an agreement allowing Addis Ababa to own 19% of Berbera port. According to the agreement, Emirati logistics company DP World will own 51% of the project. However, Ethiopia lost its share in Berbera port in 2018. They faced rejection from the Somali government led by President Farmajo, and Prime Minister Hassan Kaira. The Somali government escalated the matter to the UN Security Council, citing concerns about DP World's activities.
We have no problem with investment in Somalia, any part in Somalia, including Somaliland. However, we will not negotiate or compromise on the sovereignty and the territorial integrity of Somalia.
heshiis walba oo la galayo oo masiiri ah oo ama ku saabsan deked ama khayraad ama bad dalka meel walba ay tahay waxa uu igman kaliya dawladda federaalka ansixintiisana waxa uu igman baarlamaanka sidaas daraadeed waxaan mar labaad hoosta ka xariiqayaa inaan soo dhaweynayno shirkad walba oo dunida joogta oo doonaysa dalkeena inay maal gashato waayo kobcinta dhaqaalaha waa ahmiyadda koowaad ay leedahay xukuumadda aan ra'iisul wasaaraha ka ahay.
Prime Minister Kaire, in a press conference, clarified Somalia's openness to business, but emphasized that all agreements must be routed through the Somali parliament. Following this, the Somali parliament posed a ban on DP World. This collaboration had significant implications, particularly in supporting a maritime initiative. It's crucial to recall that during this period, DP World's activities were at the forefront of the geopolitical landscape. After a year, Somalia imposed a ban on DP World, and the parliament approved the decision. The UAE company DP World sought to establish a military base in Somalia and signed a deal with Somaliland. Ethiopia in 2023 be like, DP World's playbook seems interesting. Maybe if we borrow a few chapters, our business game will become the talk of the town. Crazy, right? These investments show Ethiopia's dedication to boosting its maritime capabilities. While Eritrea has denied Ethiopia the opportunity to establish a base in its sea, Somalia has allowed Ethiopia to use its ports for transporting goods. But Ethiopia wants more, a military base. They are not even talking about transporting goods anymore. Crazy, right? Meanwhile, the current federal government of Somalia renewed its defense agreement with Ethiopia in December 2023. This renewed pact, updating the 2014 version, brought in new aspects, with a highlight on maritime security. It looks like a well-thought-out strategy, highlighting a synchronized effort between economic and defense plans. As the Rise Africa channel brings you these exclusive facts, peeling back the layers of geopolitics, there's more to the story. In a parallel move, the defense ministers of Somalia, Abdulkadir Nur, and Ethiopia, Abraham Balay, met in Addis Ababa on December 20, 2023, signing a new memorandum of understanding. This agreement reaffirms their commitment to working together for peace and security in the Horn of Africa, covering military training, intelligence sharing, counterterrorism, maritime security, and humanitarian assistance. Throughout history, Somalia and Ethiopia have been like fire and water, never quite getting along. The Somali people around the world have spoken, and their collective voice has reverberated so loudly that it prompted swift action from the Somali government. Prime Minister Hamza of Somalia quickly summoned all ministers to a meeting to address the concerns and sentiments echoing across the Somali people. The urgency of the situation is evident, as the government acknowledges the need for immediate attention to the issues raised by the Somali people globally. Meeting led by Prime Minister Hamza Barre, Somalia's government made a significant decision. Despite President Hassan Sheikh being the main authority, the meeting was chaired by Prime Minister Hamza. The key development is Somalia officially recalling its ambassador from Ethiopia. This move signals a potential diplomatic row between the two countries, and there are rumors of cutting off diplomatic relations. The Somali cabinet strongly opposes the memorandum of understanding signed between the Ethiopian government and the breakaway, semi-desert Somaliland state. They deem it a violation of international law, calling it illegal and invalid. Somalia has reached out to international organizations, urging the African Union and the UN Security Council to convene emergency meetings. They see this as a threat to regional peace and stability. Somalia also seeks support from the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, the Arab League, and other organizations. While military action is not immediately mentioned, Somalia is using diplomatic and legal avenues, leveraging international pressure against Ethiopia. So, as we watch this story unfold, one thing's for sure. As the government acknowledges the need for immediate attention to the issues raised by the Somali people globally, President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud took the floor in the Somali parliament to share important news about the Addis Ababa Agreement. He expressed his concern, saying that this agreement is not good and goes against the international rules. Importantly, he mentioned that he had no idea about it before it happened. It's essential to note that Somalia and Somaliland had a previous meeting in Djibouti where they signed a deal. Even though people had many questions about the meeting, President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, he said Somalia won't agree to the deal made with Ethiopia. He made it clear that Somaliland is a part of Somalia, and what Ethiopia did goes against international rules. He gave a speech to Somalia's parliament to reassure the Somali people about their country's sovereignty. However, this geopolitical chessboard has sparked concerns among Somalis worldwide, with warnings to Ethiopia about potential incursions into Somali waters, particularly around Berbera. The Ethiopian government's alleged alignment with Russia, China, and the UAE in the pursuit of Red Sea dominance. On the other side of the coin, the USA's support for Somalia underscores the complex power play in the region. As we pay attention to what's happening in the Horn of Africa, where things are unfolding and countries are making complex alliances, the future of the Red Sea becomes really important. It has a big impact on how stable things are in the region. Share your thoughts in the comments. If you found this journey intriguing, don't miss out on more captivating stories about Africa's rise. Subscribe to Rise Africa and turn on notifications to stay updated on the rich tapestry of narratives that shape our continent's destiny. Join us on this exploration of Africa's past, present, and future. Subscribe now and be part of the Rise Africa community.